Hello, everyone. Art Burns here, and I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day today. So, a friend of mine yesterday posted something on Facebook where she was talking about how, we hurt the ones we love. And that's a term that I've heard a lot of times in my life. And I've lived it a lot in my life, too. I used to be a person who, I would come home from a bad day at work and I would just basically take it out on my wife, and I really, I regret those days and I apologize to her all the time about it. But instead of dwelling in the past, of course, I don't do it anymore, right? And so we all have done that, right? I'm sure all of you have experienced that on some level or other, whether it's on the receiving end or the giving end. But the reason why it's such a cliche statement in our human vernacular is because it happens all the time, And so why do we do that, right? I mean, the theory that I have is that number one, we know that the people will accept us, right? Like we know that they won't leave us after we say something that we shouldn't have said, and as long as we apologize and that kind of thing, right? And so that's, I think, our motive of subconsciously why we do it. But why is there a need to do it? So mindfulness can address that question, right? And that's what I wanted to talk to you today about. So number one, mindfulness will allow us to understand when we're doing that, right? When we're in the process of saying something hurtful to someone, and not only will allow us to see it, but allows us to see it early enough in the process that we can stop it. And that's a really important thing for your personal relationships, right? But let's talk about the root of this sort of issue, right? Why is it that we feel like we need to vent when we get home and we can't do it during the day? Well, that has a lot to do with how we feel like we can communicate throughout the day, and that has a lot to do with emotional intelligence, right? Because a lot of times, emotional intelligence is self-awareness along with self-regulation, along with empathy, along with motivation, and along with social skills. Those are the sort of five domains that make up emotional intelligence. And mindfulness practices will address almost all of those, either indirectly or directly. It's going to address all of that, right? And so as you practice mindfulness on a daily basis, even for just a few minutes of formal meditation a day, plus adding mindfulness into the activities that you do throughout your day, the laundry, the dishes, the walking around the office, everything you're doing, we can add mindfulness into those daily activities. And as we do that, we develop a really strong level of emotional intelligence because we're developing the self-awareness, the self-regulation, the empathy, motivation as well. Social skills are just some things that sort of come out of that. But when we can do that, right, we can make sure that throughout the day we are really expressing our emotions in a healthy way and not bottling things up all day, so that when we get home it's just like your husband or your wife or your spouse, partner says one thing and just blow up, right? We can sort of regulate ourselves throughout the day so that we can number one, articulate ourselves in a healthy and proper way with those who we work with, right? And number two, we can make sure that when we are feeling that bottled up feeling, we know that we're feeling it, right? And when we go home, we know that we have to do something to sort of let that out before we do so with our loved ones. And this can help you in enormous ways, not only at home but also at work, because by using assertiveness and healthy communications in a mindful way during work, not only will you avoid this situation at home, but you're also going to have more productive conversations at work and ultimately more success. So if you'd like some information about these practices that I talk about, and help getting into them, please just drop a comment below or send me a direct message or send me an email. I would love to have a conversation with you about how these things can help you and how you can get started with them. All right, everybody, have a great day. Nice to talk to you, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Take care.